Hey, Tina. Okay, Aaron started the recording for us, so I guess that means it's time to start. Do we want to give everybody a second more, Aaron, or how many people are supposed to be in here?
So Constance, I don't get a hi too. All right.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we'll just let everybody who's going to pop in pop in. For those of you who don't know me already, I'm Cassandra Lyles. I teach video instruction with the Broadcast Production Technologies Department. I also run the college's two television channels. Lee County owns them, but we run them. One is the government channel, excuse me, LCGTV. We were just talking about how we all have allergies from the warmth last week. The other one is 4CNC, which is our college channel. And so I hope you guys check us out if you haven't already. But I'm here today to give you a little bit of my expertise in just adding video into your courses, some of the more technical stuff that you might have questions about. And so I hope we can have a good session today.
Okay, thank you. And my name is Dr. Jamie McLeod, if you haven't met me before. Hopefully you were in the session with Dr. Brown yesterday. He's an instructor in instructional technology at East Carolina, and I'm a graduate from his program. And Dr. Brown is a big advocate for multimedia, video, and those kinds of things in your class. So I'm excited to present this today. I am an instructional designer here at Central Carolina Community College, and I also teach computer classes and communication classes. So I'm excited to share some of this information, and please feel free to share your ideas too, and I'll certainly give you opportunities to do that. So please feel free to share your thoughts as we go along. Okay, so I want to get started by asking a question and think about how do you use multimedia in your courses right now? So kind of do a reflection, think about the classes you teach, and specifically for this session, we're going to look at video. So think about how do you use video in your classes? Are you using video in your classes? If you're using multimedia, are you just using images, maybe audio, but maybe you're not using a lot of video? So as this session goes on, think about that. And and that's the purpose, to engage students and to share content. Exactly. Thank you, Erica. So think about how you're currently using it. And maybe as we go through, maybe you'll come up with some ideas along the way for one of your courses that, oh, I could do this in this course. And if you get some of those ideas, definitely share them in the chat, and we'll point them out because this is a learning session. You have some great ideas too, and we would love for you to share them. So I'm seeing some purposes in the chat: to share content, to communicate with students. Absolutely. Those are all purposes. So the concept of multimedia for this session and what we're going to be talking about is video, bringing video into your classes, and how you do that and why you should do that. And yep, Tina, good demos, medical techniques, absolutely. So actually demonstrating instruction. And the context of why this is important, if you have not used video in your classes before, is it helps you to bring yourself into your online classes. So if you teach face-to-face or hybrid classes, but you also teach an online class, you want to give your students in those online classes and even in the hybrid sessions some of the same benefits they get in the face-to-face sessions. And video is one of the great ways that you can do that. So I see some more ideas. Summarize reading. Yep, summarize content. Supplement, break the monotony. Yes, so one of those types of monotony, and we'll talk about it, is text. the wall of text, the paragraphs of text that your students encounter, whether it's in the textbooks or just maybe some of your content that you need to they need to understand things, so they need to read some chapters. And so these videos help break some of that up to give them a different kind of style to learn from. And many students love learning from videos, while others love learning from reading. So it helps you mix things up. And Lisa Smeltzer says problem solving examples. Yes, so you can demonstrate examples to your students and they can see you explaining it, which can be a lot more effective if you just explained it in text. There's a lot more you can do in video. Maybe they can see your expressions and how you feel about certain things that you're showing. And they can see the importance, and you can emphasize things a lot easier too. Okay, so here's a quote from Dr. Regluth from Indiana University. And if you were in the session yesterday with Dr. Brown's a graduate from Indiana University. It's probably the most prestigious institution for instructional design, maybe other than BYU. Those are probably two of the top tier schools for instructional design. And Dr. Regluth wrote a text that's pretty much what most instructional designers look for and read as the foundational thoughts of instructional design. And he had a quote about instructors, and this is what he said about instructors. Instructors are caring and nurturing people who value social interaction. And I just thought that was a fantastic definition of so many instructors and what they want in their classes. So when you're standing up in front of your class, you want to be interactive with your students. You want to get to know who they are. You want them to get to know who you are. You want to see the expressions on their faces when you're going over concepts. And you want them to see your mannerisms, your expressions, and your demonstrations for your instruction. And in the classroom, this is easy. This is all built in. But in the hybrid and online world, it's really hard to do that without video. So video helps you bring these kinds of social interactions so that your students can see who you are, they can hear your voice, and it helps build that relationship from the very beginning in social interaction. Okay, so you've thought about how you use multimedia in your videos. What does your course social and instructor presence look like? So you may post announcements. Yes, that's true. It's hard to show expressions while wearing COVID masks. Yes, during this time, that is certainly true. The good thing about video in this case is you can, be in your office by yourself and they can see that. Maybe right now they can't in your classrooms while you're wearing masks. So that's another additional benefit. So taking the multimedia a step further, thinking about how you present yourself in your class. So maybe you use announcements, and those are typically text. Maybe you have a photo of yourself in the class so students can see you. But video will help you take that instructor social presence to another level. So that maybe when your online students bump into you on campus, if they see you on campus, they can more easily recognize you. Hey, that's my instructor. Whereas if you just rely on text and announcements and things like that, you could walk by your online students numerous times when you're on campus or in a grocery store somewhere and not even know that was one of your students, or they wouldn't even know that was their instructor. So this is ways you can help build your presence in the class and show that you're present, you're there, and you really want to do this to build relationships so that when they're struggling, they have a connection with you, and then they'll reach out to you and feel more comfortable reaching out to you because you've integrated video into your course. Okay, so what are some of the ways you can use video multimedia in your course? So some of you may already be doing some of these, maybe not. And if you have some examples you want to type in the chat, this is a good time to do that too. I'm going to throw a few of the more basic ones out there. Your welcome message at the beginning of the course. What a great experience for an online student when they first come into their course to see a video welcome message from their instructor. So they can immediately see your mannerisms, your style, and things like that. I once had a student tell me I posted a picture of myself in my instructor block in Moodle years ago. Moodle's a learning management system like Blackboard. And I also had a welcome message. And I actually had a student contact me and they thanked me for doing the welcome message because they said when they saw my picture that they thought that I might be a mean instructor. And so I went back and looked at my image and I was like, maybe I need to take a different image because I certainly don't want students to think that I'm a mean instructor. But they said when they watched my welcome message, they realized that they had totally gotten a wrong impression of me from my image. So I did change the image. I didn't see it, but I changed the image to maybe make myself look a little more friendly. So that's just, so things, and text is the same way. You can very easily take just text out of context or maybe not be able to see clearly how it relates. And video just helps you come to life more and show what you're trying to demonstrate to your students, maybe in a way that you typed out text that you don't understand, but maybe they're getting something from it. Like I never would have thought someone could have thought that I was a mean teacher from my image. But just from my video, they're picking up additional things that are helping them that I didn't even think of. So welcome videos. Tina says she does welcome videos, a weekly lecture video, and sometimes a review game video. Those are all great examples. So I love the idea of the weekly lecture video. I try to do that in all of my courses that are online because it'll help you summarize what they need to do for the week. So yes, you might have it listed in your course, but you can actually do a video. Here's what I want you to turn in. Maybe there's some tricky points with particular assignments, and here's a chance for you to point out, here's where you might get stuck. So you can really take care of a lot of questions you might run into in your courses with those weekly lecture videos to point out the material before the students read it in the textbook or watch some other videos, demonstrations you may have. The demonstration, somebody has already mentioned that, but if you have labs or if you have particular concepts that you want to show your students, there may exist YouTube videos of someone else already doing that. But what I have found in my experiences is you can't always find the perfect YouTube video. It's like maybe you'll watch it for 5 minutes, but then right at the 5-minute mark, they say something like, oh, I don't really want my students to see it that way. Or they'll mention something that might confuse your students because it might be for master's level students, and you really don't want the students to be thinking on that level right now. So then this is a way for you to correct that. So you may have liked some of the material you saw in the YouTube video, but then you really want to craft it to your students and maybe not let them see something that might be confusing. So that's an excellent use of bringing yourself into the class. So, and to complement maybe some other YouTube videos that you use. Did anybody else have some examples they wanted to share in the chat? So I'll give you a chance if you're typing it to do that. So the purpose of these videos is the instructor to student connection. So even though it may not be synchronous, so you can do synchronous video through Collaborate like we're doing now, but you can also do the asynchronous. And some of the benefits of the asynchronous too is you are actually making a connection with your student, even though you don't realize it. You may not be there, but the student is interacting with you. They're getting instruction directly from you. It's showing them that you're a real person. And this is very important. It's showing them this isn't a correspondence course. This is a course where you're a real instructor. You're here to help them. And it's really going to help your students. Yep, send out videos for every module. and a welcome video. Great. Those are great examples. Yeah, so somebody mentioned play pause it. Play pause it. There's going to be a session for Welcome with play pause it. I encourage everybody who wants to do video to attend that. That is a way where you can take your videos, make them interactive, and just take them to another level. So these videos, yep, demonstrating equipment, that's an excellent way. It's very hard to do with just an image or just text, depending on how sophisticated the piece of equipment is. So that's another great example, Brenda. Thank you. Excellent. So it's going to improve the quality of student questions too, because they're going to watch your video, and now you know some of the things that they're focusing on because you've pulled out material from the chapter. You've pulled out material maybe from the PowerPoints, and you're focusing it. And so it can help direct the students' questions so that they're higher quality questions. And maybe it'll help answer some of the easier ones that you get where you're just like, oh, that was right there in the book. So maybe you can highlight those, reduce the number of emails you get, and make clearer instruction for your students. And it helps them focus, but it makes a connection, helps you build the relationships. And that's very important for your instructor to student relationships. Videos can really help you build that easily. Okay, so here's an example. So we're going to compare video, images, and text. So you see me, I'm down here at the bottom. So this is video. Then I have an image of myself. Yes, there's the mean instructor. Thank you, John. That was not the image I used, but if someone could tell me, Jamie, you look kind of mean in that photo. Okay, I'll try to do better with my photos. I'm not the most photogenic person in the world. And then you see text. So here's the comparison. So think about your class. Put yourself in the role of a student. So here's video. Here's me down in the corner. I'm talking. I'm explaining. So think about what you know about me just from that experience. What can you tell from my voice, my mannerisms, what I'm doing? And then look at my photo. And then look at just the text with me introducing myself, saying something, hello class. And as you think about it, you can clearly see the contrast between these three different types of delivery methods. And you can see the power of video and what I can do as opposed to maybe some of the limitations of a graph or just an illustration or just simple text. So whenever you're designing your instruction, do this comparison. Think about, okay, here's what I have available in video. Here's what I have available for an image, and here's what I have available for text. And think about what would be the best situation and context for your specific type of instruction. But I believe you can integrate video in almost anything and improve it. Okay, so here's another example. So here's different ways you could present yourself in an online class. You've seen these in the instructor area where it's just a name, contact information, office hours, things like that. Here, I've added a picture with that. But when you add video on top of this, think about how much it enhances the student knowing who you are and how much clarifying you can provide than just basic information here. So you can see where we just have text, we have image with text, but then think about if you add that welcome message, whether students can contact you or not, how they can contact you, and things like that, how much more you can enhance that with video. Okay, so the two different types of video, asynchronous, synchronous, we talked about that. Live video, you can certainly do that in your class. It has a lot of benefits because you've got that interactivity face-to-face. A live session can do that for you. But you're going to find if you try to have everybody show up into these sessions, you're going to run into a lot of barriers. So asynchronous video has a lot of advantages because not only can you record it once, you can reuse your recordings in different sections, different semesters. And if you need to move stuff around, you can also reuse those videos. So you make it once but you may use that video 2, 3, 4 semesters later on. And so it's just do it once, but then it's going to benefit you many times over. And it's also going to benefit your students too. So I would encourage you to use video and think about it as an effective way to build relationships with your students, but also as a way to save you time. Maybe less simple questions. Maybe you get a bunch of questions where you're just like, oh, that's a really simple question that the student just overlooked something. Put those kinds of things in videos and have them watch it. And to take it a step further, you can incorporate your video into something like Play Pause It. I would be glad to show you Play Pause It. Just send me an email and I'd be glad to show you how you can integrate video into it. You can put questions into it to make sure they've got key concepts. And it's just going to help save you some time to reduce those easy questions and focus your instruction and help you reuse content over and over so you don't have to keep explaining the same things over and over again. So when you get that question from students, you could maybe answer their question, but send them the video on it and say, hey, I have a video on it. Did you watch this? And maybe it will answer the question and save you a lot of time in the process. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over now. And we're going to look at some specific ways you can build this video content. Well, I think you're muted.
Okay, I am the video professional, and see what I just did? That's okay. You're going to make mistakes sometimes with your video and your audio, and it's fine. The students are not really going to care. But we just talked about a lot of the reasons why you should use video in your courses. So I'm going to get into a little bit more of the technical aspect, like how do you do that, right? Because some people are like, well, I would love to put a video in my class, but I don't even know how to do that. And I don't even know, how I should be going about that. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to talk about. If you guys have questions as I'm going through, please feel free to type it in the chat, and we will stop and answer them. We'll also answer some at the end of this as well. Okay, so one of the things that we talk about a lot in video is setting up your space, right? Where are you going to be when you do these recordings for your students? You do want to develop a relationship with your students, and that means giving them just a little bit of your personality, right? You don't want to get too personal, probably. But you do want to allow them to see what kind of teacher you are. And if you're teaching hybrid classes or even in-person classes and want to add video to supplement, these things all help the students get to know you better and feel like they have a stronger relationship with you. So one of the things that I do when I'm getting ready to do a video is I look at my background, or in video we call it a set, but for you guys it could be your office, it could be your house, like I'm in my home today. And you just want to make sure that your background is not, there's nothing too strange going on in your background. It's not cluttered, it's not too busy, because students will fixate on the things in the background and they will forget to listen to you. So you want to kind of just make sure you have more neutral, less cluttered spaces. You also want to make sure that you have good light, because the students you guys are going to be talking to in these videos are used to watching video all day, every day, right? They watch TikTok, Instagram videos, they watch YouTube. So if you are in a dark cave and they can't see you, they are not going to watch it. Same with the audio. If they can't hear you, if you're in a place where it's too echoey or there's an audio problem, they are not going to watch it either. You also want to make sure that your camera position is at eye level. This is a mistake a lot of us make. I see it all the time in these video meetings, right? Some of you guys may have noticed that especially like Dr. Chapman likes to stand up when she does her meetings, the town halls and stuff, right? You guys can stand up and teach too. You just need to make sure that you're moving your camera up so that the students aren't either looking up at you, and some people put their laptops on the desk and they look down into the camera. That also freaks your students out a little bit, right? It seems like you're looking down on them when you do that. So you want to get your camera at eye level and practice. Sometimes the people are like, well, I don't like being on camera. I cannot look at the camera. Right now I'm looking directly into the camera. So I'm going to stop this sharing real quick so you guys can see me, or can you? Am I can't tell what you guys are
Yes, we
seeing. Are
can.
you
Yes,
guys?
yes, we
Okay,
can see.
okay. So I'm looking directly into the camera right now. That's weird for a lot of people, right? They're like, I cannot do this. It just takes practice. You just need to sit in a room, look at your camera, and talk to it. This is going to give your student the feeling that you're looking directly at them. If you cannot bring yourself to look in the camera, if it's too weird, a lot of people will paste a little picture beside their camera that they can look at instead, or a shape or something that they're looking at. You can also look at yourself on the screen, but then your eyes are a little down. I also wanted to show you guys really quick this cell phone thing. Is going to be a little bit more difficult for you all to see, but this, you can do prompter programming. There are apps for your phone, right? And you just hit play and it is going to show a script to you. And as you read along, it will move up. So you could put this on your phone, or you could put it on a laptop next to you. Any of those kinds of things you could do. Okay, so how do you format your information? Once you've got your space all set up, one of the things that you want to do is to chunk your information into small bits. And the reason why, I'm going to show you guys something, because I always think this is so enlightening, and I'm going to share my screen with you really quick. Okay, so this is some lectures I put in for my video, my broadcast writing class when we went, you see the dates, 2020. I decided I was going to put this really long lecture, but I was going to break it up into 4 parts, right? And each part was going to be 10 minutes. I thought I was doing really good, but I posted them all at the same time. I want you guys to look over here at the views. So the whole class watched it, the first one. Not so many watched the second one, a little less the third one, and look how few got all the way to the fourth one. Okay, so if you give them too much to do to watch, they're not going to do it. They won't make it all the way through. So it's really important to just make your videos no more than 5 minutes in length, and then give them an activity to do or something else to do. And then you can go back and post another video maybe a few days later. But it's really important not to overwhelm them with video. Remember to only put your key points on your slides, and illustrate or demonstrate whenever possible. That means you can stand up and show the illustration, because that also shows your personality, right? When you're getting up and moving around. There's all kinds of different ways you can do that. Moving around, you can take your videos outside. If you're doing a cooking demonstration or a chemistry demonstration, or you're talking about different plants and you want to go outside and look for them, you can take your video with you and record in all of those places to give your students more of an interesting view, and not just you sitting talking in front of the camera. Okay, so how many of you know how to record in Blackboard Collaborate? Did I get Constance says she's an expert, I know. Yes, so a lot of you do. Do you guys know how to take it over to YouTube and put your closed captioning onto it? Most of you do. No, some of you do not. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to show you really quick, and I can send you more in-depth one if you guys do not know how to do this, but I want to stress to you the importance of closed captioning. when you guys are doing these videos, that's all well and good. Okay. Your students love them. It's more interactive. But I had a student last year who would watch the videos in his car on his break at work. Then other students watch them in a crowded, living room or whatever. They watch them in all kinds of places, and maybe they can't turn the audio up. They don't have their headphones. If you have closed captioning, not only is it good just for our accessibility, our disabled students, but also for just everybody who's watching it in maybe a place that they can't hear. So I am going to share with you my screen again so that we can look really quick on how to take something quickly over into YouTube. Okay, I'm going to start out, and some of you don't even know you have a YouTube site, I'm going to imagine. So I'm showing you really quick. If you go into your Gmail account that's provided by the school, over here are all your apps. If you click on them and scroll down, you all have a YouTube channel. Okay. You just click on that, and it's going to take you to your, I have it on my broadcast writing. Let me switch channels really quick. But it will show up as your channel. The easiest way to bring your video into YouTube is to just quickly click here and do upload video. Okay. And it is going to take you into your studio. You'll just go here to select your file. I did a really quick one earlier, and so I'll click on it and go.
But we're
And
just
gonna,
seeing the email screen at the moment. I think it opened a
oh,
new
oh, oh,
tab or
oh, I'm
something.
sorry. I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me switch. Let me switch back. Oh, I'm so sorry. This will happen to you too sometimes when you're sharing your screen, right? Okay, Chrome tab. Let's go to this one. Okay, now can you see the YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, so this is the one I just uploaded. So let me go back to the dashboard. If you come into it, it will give you an upload, and you just uploaded straight from your computer, right? So this is the one I just did, and it's really a quick video. But when I click on it here to watch it on YouTube, and it's not, you guys probably can't see that either, but it's not going to have the closed captioning on. Eventually, YouTube will put your closed captioning on for you. Okay, it puts it on every, we're going to look at this video because I know it's already on here. It automatically puts it on. Now, the problem with it is it does not do punctuation very well, and it puts all your ums and ahs in there. So you just go down to subtitles, and it's going to let you duplicate and edit those. And you see how the text is up here. So I will just go in here and I say, okay, we're just going to test this out. And I would put my, punctuation in and stuff and make it all nice and neat. And then you just publish it. And then you get the link and put it back into your Blackboard course that way. And then your students can go there. Does that make sense to everybody? I know it was a little fast. If you have questions about it more in depth, I can go more in depth with you. But it is really important that you guys do that just for our accessibility issues alone. Now, I will tell you that Blackboard is going to do an update in the near future in which they will caption as you record, right? Like a lot of places will do that voice recording. And you will be able then to edit it straight through Blackboard. You won't have to jump out to YouTube and do that. But right now, YouTube is just simply the fastest and easiest way to do it at this moment. Amanda will send us out. I thought she was going to be in this session, but she will send us out something when it gets closer to that being done. Okay, so let's talk really quick about equipment you might find useful. Jamie, can you bring that back up? I don't know where it went on my screen.
Yep. Yeah, give me 1 second. I certainly can.
Yeah, I don't know where it went. So,
I believe.
yes, Erica, it is going to be awesome when it's going to eliminate a whole step for a lot of people, so it'll make it a lot faster. Okay, there we go. So let's go down here. Okay, so some equipment that you guys might find useful. Again, this is something you could probably put in requisitions for if you're online teaching or, things like that. But vlogging packages, if you search vlogging packages in Amazon or Google, it will bring up this whole package of stuff, which includes like a cell phone stand, a ring light. It'll have sometimes a background, microphones, things like that for you guys to use. Laptop stands are extremely effective in helping you get your camera up to the right level, because a lot of them can be placed on top of a table, and then you can extend the legs so that it's tall enough for you guys to stand up. Whiteboards or dry erase boards are great to hang on the wall behind you where you're going to use, and so you can turn around and write on those. I know they have the virtual whiteboard in our Blackboard, but sometimes it's just nice to actually write it out, and it's more familiar to a lot of people. So I'm going to show you this cell phone stand really quick so you know what I'm talking about, and this will help with your lighting. So this, I've got one all set up here, but this is a ring light, and it's really simple. It plugs into your laptop, and when I turn it on, you guys will be able to see it puts a little light. This will help smooth out your skin, make you look professional, do all that fun stuff. And right here, you can see there's the cell phone holder and this swivel. So you put your cell phone here. This is really helpful, you guys, if you're going out to do, like I said, something outside, like you're going out to film, how to identify plants, or how, if you're in your kitchen and you want to show them a cooking demonstration, or you're in your lab and you want to show them something, you could hook your cell phone here and record that there. This telescopes up and down so that you guys can get a really nice eye level shot. So these things are relatively inexpensive. You can buy all of these things for well under $100, and it helps just make everything look professional. The microphones are great if you're in big cavernous rooms with a lot of concrete. I'm in a room right now with a lot of fabric, so the sound is completely different. But if you're in a room that echoes a lot, you just attach a little microphone to you, plug it into the headset jack, or you can wear, like Jamie has on, you can wear your headsets. The gaming headsets are awesome for recording video. So that was all of the things I had for you guys today. I want you to ask me questions about setting up video or using video. If anybody has any questions, you can either unmute or type it in the chat.
So while we're waiting for that, I'll just show you some examples of some things you can get for even recording cell phone videos.
Yes.
So here's an example of a microphone. So if you have things that are outside, it comes with this windscreen here. So if you've ever heard a video where like you just hear the wind over and over, you can just place it over the microphone and you can make videos outside to demonstrate things. There's a lot of options. But the thing is, start small and build up, and you'll start getting ideas. And Lisa Knight and myself, we would be glad to explore some of the different options available for you, just depending on your specific situation and your needs.
And as far as specific brands, I'm just going to say that most of them work really, really well. So I'll just show you, again, I'll share my tab here with you. When I said vlogging kits, if you look here, this is what they all kind of look like. So you can buy these with the different light colors and microphones already attached to them. And you can see these look short here, but they all telescope up to standing height. And as you can see, they're not very expensive, so I would just buy, this one even has one where you could really take it outside. With this. But all of these things, it's not very expensive. I know some departments bought ones for their whole department to use. They share them or whatnot, or you can buy one specifically for your house. So yes, yeah, if you guys have ones that you like, go ahead and post them. Yeah, because these are very simple and, like I said, not very expensive, and things that will make you look a lot better. You know, our students are just so used to people say all the time, oh, well, all those videos on YouTube, they're not professional, right? But those people all have setups in their house, right? They have lighting, they have microphones, it's just all well hid. So these people are doing professional videos. So our students are used to watching professional videos. So you don't have to be studio ready. You don't have to, you still can have that, but you do want the basics. You want good camera angle, light, and sound. Those are really important.
Here's another example. If you can see this, this is a stand for a cell phone. So if you have a very technical program, has a lot of parts, maybe options on machines that it's just really hard to show them, you can actually use your cell phone as like a document camera just with this stand, and then you can show parts and things like that for videos that might be difficult to do that you've had trouble with in your online class, maybe labs and things like that. So there's all kinds of cool tools out there like that.
And you can also just do something as simple as a screen share. So when I do my creative writing class, I'm sorry, my script writing class, we use a specific piece of software that has a lot of intricacies that students would not be familiar with because it's industry software, and so they wouldn't have used it before. So whenever I assign them something in that class, I do a screen capture of me typing a script up that is similar to the one I'm asking them to do, so they can watch it and go, oh, that's the button I have to press to get to do that. So those things are very helpful for students to go back. We also do videos on we did a whole video on how to set up lighting in when they're going to interview somebody, and they went back and watched that multiple times throughout the semester because they would forget. They would forget all the things they learned because we jammed a lot of information into it, so they were able to go back and focus on those. So it's important to put those kinds of videos in your class.
Absolutely. Yeah, Thea's showing some laptop stand examples.
Oh yeah, the laptop stands are very effective. Yeah, they're really great. Okay,
Yeah,
so what questions do you guys have for us?
And if you want to see an example of what she's talking about looking down at your students, just do what she's record a video where you're looking down at the camera and then watch it back. And you'll see what she's saying. It won't take you 5 seconds to notice it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, and there's been a lot of psychological studies, right, on video. I mean, obviously, video has been used forever to sell us stuff, right, in advertisement. It's very effective. You guys can just consider this selling yourself. But when you look down into the camera, it gives your audience the impression that you feel superior to them and that you're talking down to them. And they may not notice it consciously, but that's what happens. And so you really want to just stay eye level and not too close to the camera either, right? You don't want to be up in their face because that makes them uncomfortable. So yes, Constance, it does keep your laptop cooler. It keeps it from overheating for sure. Yep. Okay, you guys have any more questions? We've got about 5 minutes left. Do you guys know how to add the welcome video into your announcements? Do you guys know where to put the video? Some of you do because you do it already. Okay, Kelly, let me show you that real quick because that would probably be helpful for some people. Okay. So if you are in Blackboard, okay, you can see Blackboard now. So like if you wanted just to do something to say welcome, welcome back or whatever, I've done this before. You click over here to add content and then insert local files, or if you're pulling it in from Dropbox or whatever, but you save your video. You can see there's all these stuff. You can also put it in YouTube first and just link the YouTube video there, copy and paste your link. Or you can just record it, save it to your desktop, and then insert it insert it from here, and it will just show up in this area as a video. So your students can see it. You can also do that with your discussion boards. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. When you go into your discussion boards and create a thread, when they start typing down here, you can ask your students to respond to a welcome video with their own video, and they can add them here just the same way with this plus button at the end. So that's the easiest way to do that. Is that
Yeah,
helpful?
there's a lot of angles that you can take video. It all depends on your circumstances, your specific needs. So if you come up with some ideas, Lisa Knight and I are extremely excited about integrating multimedia into your courses.
Yes.
And we would love to help you do that and maybe even help you brainstorm or just be a soundboard for you to bounce ideas off of. We would love to do that. She mentioned screencasts.
Yes.
This is, if you want to play around with screencasts, Screencast-O-Matic is a good site. It's free. They're not going to trick you with ads and all kinds of stuff like that. And if you just want to experiment with the possibilities of what you can do, that's just a web browser. And you just install a quick little item. And right when you go to the website, you can record, stop, you can download the MP4. So you might think, what can I do with a screencast? Anything you want to show students on the screen, giving them a course tour, for instance. You can bring up your class in Blackboard and show them. Like software.
How to navigate.
Yes, navigate software, anything like that, anything on your screen that you want to show students, screencasting, that's what it's for. So you can use that software. You can even do it inside of Blackboard Collaborate too.
Yep.
So there's
Absolutely.
a lot of possibilities.
But the more you mix it up between just showing your face, showing PowerPoint, showing demonstrations, things like that, your students are going to stay more engaged. So, and plus, if we're talking about building relationships, that discussion board idea where you introduce yourself in a discussion board and they respond back to you with a short video, not only shows you that student, but it shows their classmates themselves as well. So they introduce themselves to the whole class. That's really useful if you're completely online and they never see each other, right? It gives them a sense of community. So,
Lisa,
yes,
did you have a question? Screencastify.
Nice. Okay, there's another one. Good.
You see that a lot of K through 12 use Screencastify a lot. It's a very popular one.
Yeah. How big are the files?
Lisa, did you have a question?
I did. Sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Technical difficulties.
Look how her turning on the camera enhances, not just text, but now we can see her. Great example, Lisa. Thanks.
Cassie, you were talking earlier about chunking the videos and having different release times. So I usually post everything in a block. So maybe tell me a little bit how you do that.
So one of the things that I found useful in my hybrid class, because I don't do a lot of straight online classes, but I did a hybrid class. So one of the things that I found was useful was releasing a short video that with the key points on Monday for them to then come in on Tuesday. But then what they knew on Tuesday when they first came into class was I was going to ask them to tell me what one thing they learned out of that video, right? So they would have had to have watched it. And then maybe on Wednesday, I would release the next key point that I wanted to do for that module or the week, but space it out a couple of days so that maybe they have other interaction with you in between. I just found when I did that long one, it turned out that I showed you guys, you could see how they didn't view, because I just threw them all up there at once and they went, ugh, I'm going to watch this first one fine, but I'm not going to get all the way to that last one. So I think if you just give them a day or two in between, it tended to bring my numbers up And I think you can see them too. That's the benefit of linking through YouTube, is you can see how many of them watched it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I've got data that I think looks exactly like you showed as well. So
yeah, it's hard to get them to watch all the way through.
And Lisa, one thing you can do too is find a way to bring some accountability to the watching it. Play pause it is probably the easiest way you could do that. If you could incorporate it into some kind of grade, you can insert questions in between the video or at the end of the video. So they have to watch it all the way through to confirm that they did. And so it brings some accountability to that. Also bringing it up in class, if it's a hybrid class, bring some accountability into those videos so that they know, uh-oh, I'm going to be checked
Right.
on. I have to watch this.
And Amy Kennedy was talking about the bandwidth. Yes, it is an issue, a problem for some students. This is a hard question for me to answer because we use all the professional editing Adobe software stuff that can condense it and compress it for students. So if you're finding that you have files that are just way too big, you might have to, they're called encoders, media encoders, and that might be something I could, if you guys need to do that, I could talk to you about, in a one-on-one session or something, where you could send it through a media encoder, and it is meant to crush it down so that it can be viewed on cell phones and things like that.
And YouTube is really good about that too. If you upload it to YouTube, it will do compressing because they make money off of this, and the bigger it is, that's more cost for them. So they try to.
Right. So if you run it through YouTube just for your closed captioning, it's going to compress it some. Amy Gustafson, I do not. Too big is a relative term, right? Again, our computers are meant to run video, so my students don't have this issue because they have processors that can deal with it. But if it's a student who maybe doesn't have a lot of technology or whatever, you may only find out because they tell you, which is another key point. You really want to do a technology check with your students at the beginning of the semester, right? You need to say to them, how many of you are having internet issues? How many of you cannot view these things? And then you would know.
Yeah.
Oh, for the students, yeah, they usually, if they record it on their cell phone and upload it, it's most likely going to do in the discussion boards. It will fit because they're not going to. Don't ask them to do a 5-minute video, but just say maybe do a 30 to 30-second introduction video is all you really need, and then. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I had a hard maiden name too, so. So yeah, but if it's a short video, they shouldn't have any issues uploading it into the discussion board. We didn't last year when I used it, so hopefully that will work. Oh yeah, Flipgrid is awesome too. Yeah, if you want to use Flipgrid.
It's a good example, Thea. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thanks you guys. I think we are over our time, but if any of you have more questions, we'll be happy to stay a few minutes and answer. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining us.